In this video, I wanted to answer a question that I had in the Facebook group from one of our lovely members, Kate, and the issues she's having with her horse Womble. So Kate, this is for you, and I wanted to discuss what some of the reasons are with the cause of why you're having these problems with Womble. So I know you said when you lead from the right hand side that he is not wanting to go forward to leave his mates. He's leaning in on you. He is not wanting to step away from you, and he's rearing up. So all these problems are a sign that his basic responses aren't consolidated. So what I wanted to go through is what are the basic responses. So your basic responses are stop. So Beautiful Dragon here is demonstrating perfectly what your stop response is and what we call park in equitation science. So you'll see here, Dragon is really clear in his stop response. I can walk around him and he stands here and he doesn't move. Okay, I can ask him to step back. Whoop. Okay, so he's anticipated the step back, but let's just stand here. Okay, so see how he's anticipating the step back, but we're still working on this, and he's a little bit hypersensitive to the whip. But if I just do a light lead rein response, and he steps back. Light, heavier, and he steps back. Light, heavier, and he steps back. Good boy. Good boy. So what we're working on is getting multiple steps back from a light lead rein response, and I'll give you an example of how we train that. Okay, so we're just working on step back, and he's just walking forward because he's anticipating. He's a little bit hypersensitive to the whip. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see me here, but I'm just going to do a little tap on the chest, light, and he's just going to work out what the right, little tap. Good, he's taken one step back, I stop. Little tap, and once again, he's just working out, little tap. That was tap, tap, tap. Good. Good. So we're training step back. One more, little tap, faster tap. Good. Well done. So he picked it up there. So these are what's called the basic responses. So step back, which is part of your stop response. Dragon stopped. Okay, we want to train our turn, our go forward, and our yield. So what you need to check with Womble is if you have all these basic responses trained to a light response. So you can see here with Dragon that we're still working on our step back. Okay, now what we want to do is check his go forward response. So what we do with our light lead rein is, first of all, there's two positions. Okay, if you can't control your horse, if you can't control Womble, asking him to lead forward in a straight line, facing him this way, then you're not going to be able to lead him facing this way, and particularly on the right hand side. So we start off in what's called position 1. Okay, I'm not going to use the whip because we're just going to check Dragon's stop response. Does Dragon come forward with a light lead rein response? So I'm going to do light. See how Dragon stepped forward nice and lightly? And back. He stopped nice and lightly. Light lead rein response. Beautiful. And stop. Now I know my camera's not following me here, so we're just going to come in. Come, Bubba. Okay. So you want to check now, does Womble, and see how Dragon, okay, I'm standing in front and I'm checking Dragon's stop response. When you get your horse, you want to check how is their stop and go response. Light lead rein, about 15 centimeters underneath the clip. Light lead rein response. See how Dragon walks multiple steps forward, and light back, and he stops. Light lead rein response, he walks forward. And see how Dragon goes quite straight as well. And back. Okay, so Dragon is going straight on both sides. I can ask for a light. I'm on the left hand side. Light lead rein response. He was a little bit delayed there. And back. Beautiful. So I can incorporate the dressage whip with that just to back up his light lead rein response. He was a little bit delayed, but you can see how Dragon's quite straight in his stop response, and his go forward response, I should say. So let's just, I want to stay in frame here, so let's just turn our beautiful Dragon around. Come on. So Dragon is being retrained again only because when I brought him back into work about a month ago, he showed some deficits in his basic training. Okay, so we know Dragon, now I'm on, oh, he's a little bit hypersensitive to the whip because he's expecting me to give him an aid. But now I'm on the right-hand side, okay? Can Dragon, when I'm standing on the right-hand side, go forward with a light lead rein response? So light, and he's going straight. So you can see that? And he stops. So I know Dragon is consolidated in his go forward response to what is called obedience level. Okay, so on a light lead rein response, he takes multiple steps forward. Also, so I'm leading on the left hand side. Okay, light lead rein response forward, I walk forward. We'll try and stay in frame. Okay, light lead rein forward, I walk forward. So you can see how Dragon is not leaning in on me because I've trained him to go forward from a light lead rein response. I've trained him to stop. I know, you're a good boy. So let's just come out this way. Now I'm not sure how, let's just go forward here. Let's see how he goes forward when I lead him on the right hand side. I know I've already checked that he goes forward nice and lightly, me facing him. So let's just see on the right hand side. Okay, I would never lead a horse on the right hand side until I have consolidated my basic responses facing this way first, teaching him to go forward, to yield and to move his shoulders. So let's just see now. So I do light lead rein response and see how he's a little bit dull? Tap, tap, on the side. Tap, tap, tap. So see, even Dragon is a little bit heavier. And little tap. Because I haven't really led Dragon on the right hand side like most horses. So little tap, there we go. But see how he's going nice and straight, and stop. Good, and forward, well done. And because he's a little bit slow, I just back up with what I've already taught him, which is my little whip aid. Little tap, well done. Forward. Tap, 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 tap. Good boy. He's wanting to drift a little bit. Light and forward tap. Good boy. Okay, so you can see here, I'm leading Dragon. He's a little bit delayed. And stop. Bit heavy in his stop there, so I'm just going to ask for step back. Good, well done. So Dragon is quite consolidated in his basic responses, but I've actually taken him back and retrained them just recently. I still haven't got up to our turn, but if you're leading your horse, well, and they're leaning in, you want to have already taught them to move their shoulders across. I don't know if Dragon's even going to do this because we haven't got up to this yet, but he has been retrained in the past. But let's just see. Okay, so what's the turn response? So we've turned some. So our turn response is we've got to have our go forward. If a horse is leaning in, his turn response is he's not responding to your turn response. So what's your turn response? So our turn response is asking him, so when I ask him to step over with his left shoulder, right shoulder I should say, okay, he's going to step out with his right shoulder. So I'm just going to do this. Whoop. Good boy. And it's like little zigzags. So turn him. So I'm doing little zigzags. Whoop. So see how he's actually a little bit dull here because we haven't got up to this yet, and I'm trying to stay in frame. But basically, to be able to stop your horse from leaning in, you have to have a good forward, okay, or to have taught the forward facing the horse first. Good. And then when you've got it this way, you can go to your lead position, okay? Our turn. So let's just do Dragon. We'll face the camera. Okay, so our turn response is teaching him to move his shoulders across. So let's just stand here. Now I actually haven't, I don't know what Dragon's going to be like here because we're going over, he's learnt this before, but see, he's probably going to be a bit hyperreactive. So I'll put the dressage whip on his right shoulder. See how he's crossed his front legs? Good boys. And he's done a little snort. Okay, so I haven't actually refreshed this with him. So you can see how I am teaching Dragon to move his shoulders across. So that if at any stage I'm leading him, he's overreacting a little bit here, but if at any stage I'm leading him and he leans into me, I can give him the move over aid with his shoulders. So let's just do that again. Let's just face him to the camera. Now this is not the planned video that I wanted to do because I was hoping my pivo would work, but let's just check that again. Before you can lead on the right hand side, okay, you have to have a good forward with your light lead rein response, and if your horse slows down or speeds up, you can slow him. You need to be able to control their legs, and you teach that by your position 1, in hand first. Okay, and then when you've got them responding to the light, go forward aid, the stop aid and the turn aid, then you can go to position 2. So let's just do our turn. This is an example of how you teach a horse to not lean in or to be able to go straight. So Dragon's getting a little bit anticipating of the aid. Okay, so see how I've just put the whip on his shoulder and he's already moved across. So I only actually want him to do it from the whip aid. You probably can't see here, but I'm going to lay the whip on his shoulder, and he stepped across, but I actually don't want him to do that until I give him the whip tap. So you can't see, but I'm going to do the whip tap now. Little tap. Good, well done. And then I reward him there. Good boy. Let's see if we can do it this way, just for the camera. Okay, so he's going to anticipate the whip aid. So see how he's sort of getting ready. So I sit it on his shoulder and he's anticipating it, but I'm actually just going to wait till he stands. I know. Take it off. I'm teaching him. Wait till he stands. So see how he's actually anticipating, but I'm not asking yet. Good. Oh, see how he's moving across in anticipation. Okay, but I don't want him to do that. I'm not going to punish him or correct him for it. I'm just going to wait till he stands. When he stands still, I'm just going to sort of slow him down, ask him to step back. When he stands, remove it. Good. So he's just getting a little bit hypersensitive to the whip on his shoulder, and remove it. Good boy. I'm only teaching him to move forward. Good boy. Good boy. So let's do a little bit of desensitization here, because I only want Dragon to move forward from the whip tap, not by the look of the whip coming to his shoulder. Don't know if you can see it, but let's just move his little head over here. Okay, so I'm going to do light little whips, faster whips, faster whips. Good. Stop. Well done, good boy. So you can see I'm teaching Dragon to move his shoulder across by whip taps. So when I am leading him, and if he goes to lean in on me, I can automatically control his legs by asking him to step over. But that will also coincide with the lead rein. So what I can do now is ask him to step over and out. See how he stepped out? Good boy. With his off front, and let's just do this way. So I ask for a turn, so I put the whip on his outside shoulder, I use my lead rein, little tap, see how good, well done. And let's do it this way. So I want him to step out with that right front or his off front, so out, good. And see how he's pushed into me a little bit. So I'm asking for a step back, I'm asking him for another step back. I'm just going to ask for over. Good. And over. Well done. So see how he's stepping across, and I ask for step back. Step back. Good boy. And let's just do another across over. Okay, so see how I'm mobilising his shoulders? I want that. Whoop, he's going backwards, so we'll just keep tapping until he takes the... Whoop. I want him to step across in front. Good. Good boy. Okay, so you can see how I'm moving his shoulders. I'm teaching him. He's still, and his little snort is going, okay, I'm starting to understand this. But this is part of your basic responses. You are not going to be able to lead your horse, okay, on the right-hand side with ease if you already haven't taught him the aids to be able to control his legs, so that when he does, well, he's rearing because you haven't got him going forward nice and lightly. So a rearing is a resistance to the go forward aid. He hasn't learnt to go forward from a light lead rein response like Dragon here. And a stop. He's leaning in, okay, because he, like Dragon, but I was able to ask him to step back. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, we also teach as part of the basic responses. See how his Dragon's walking forward? Okay, so I just, good. Show him what I do want, which is stop, stand, or what we call park. I give him a lovely rub on the head and reward him. I'm showing him what I do want. Good boy. And he's learning that he can just stand here and relax until I ask him for something else. Okay, so I hope that helps. Kate, you want to go back with Womble. The reason you, and retrain the basic responses, starting with facing him first so you can see what his legs are doing. You can teach him the aids of going forward off a light lead rein response. Teach him the whip taps. Okay, you have him moving lovely and lightly forward and back, yielding his shoulders, and then you can go to your position 2. And you can then, you already know how to control his legs, so that if he slows his legs down and goes to not want to go forward and leave the other horse, you just give him a light lead rein response if he doesn't listen, a firmer lead rein response and a little tap with the whip, like here, and he goes forward. Little tap. See how Dragon, and I do little tap, and he goes faster, little tap, trip, forward, trip. See how Dragon goes forward, nice and lightly, light lead rein, he comes back. He's not exactly straight, he might drift into me, but if he drifts in, I can mobilise his shoulders. Okay, because I've already been able to teach him the aids where I have, so he's a little bit dull here, drop, light back, drop, teaching him voice cues, walk, one more, trot, walk, beautiful, stand, release. Well done, good boy. So I hope that helps, Kate. That gives you some idea. I hope I'm in the frame here. Okay, let's just move over here and drags. Good boy. Okay, you want to be able to have complete control of your horse's legs. How do you do that? You need to teach a clear communication by training the basic responses with clear aids. Okay, he needs to understand what you are asking. You cannot control your horse if you haven't got a set of clear aids and cues that you have trained with him. So you, at the moment with Womble, you haven't got a clear set of aids and cues, and so because of that, when he does rear or not want to go forward or lean into you, you do not have the tools to be able to correct his legs. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, bye. You're a good boy. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're such a good boy. You're my bestest. Yes, you are. You're all my bestesses. Yes. All right. So Dragon taught a lesson earlier on. Good boy. So see how he's walking back? Good boy. You must scratch. I know. And light lead rein response forward. Little tap because he was a little bit dull. Good boy. So let's